He said, okay.
Okay. It's on now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Microphone.
Yes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Okay. Dear believers, I ask your to overlook, I just come up with this maybe a couple of hours ago. I went down, drank a little coffee and read the paper. And it brought back something that we've been talking about regularly. And so, I'll just go down these. We talked about, you remember you was listening to or watching the program in South Africa, this one right here?
Mm-hmm.
This is in 1996.
Right.
Now in there, correct me if I'm wrong, I mentioned certain things like that is the mission of South Africa. South Africa is the wealthiest country on the continent.
That's correct.
South Africa has the ability to change the whole process from Islam spreading from the north to the south, from Islam spreading from the south to the north.
That's correct.
But I was saying we have to organize to do that. This should be our goal. This should be our mission. That this period, this time is a special gift. Okay, so at that time also I said they have made certain promises, that's the ANC, that they would build 5 million homes. They have a little concrete slab and they build a little house on top of that. This is 2 years after Mr. Mandela had taken over. And I said that that's not going to happen. The ANC will not be, I said it clear, I said they're not going to build no 5 million homes. I was clear on that, okay. I was saying that because of just living in Africa, studying the evolutions and revolutions and post-colonial, all the transitions of human beings. And then so, what I liked about the brothers in South Africa, now I'm talking mostly about the Indian Muslims, they were very wealthy, they had stuck with black people, and I really liked them. I liked them then and I like them now. What made me really like the brothers in South Africa was I had lived in East Africa. And in doing colonialism, the white man took the lion's share of everything. He had imported Indians or allowed Indians to come from India. He controlled India, he controlled all that. So they would come to the other part of the empire, East Africa and what have you. And at first they might help build railroads and things like that. Then as they stayed, they became the business people. They became the little store owners, like Duka Wallas, we used to call Duka is a store. So they used to call them Duka Wallas in Kenya. But after colonialism, 95% of the economy was controlled by Indians or Asians. Now, they were different like South Africa. In East Africa, all the Asians lived in a certain neighborhood. So the other Khanis, that's the Ismailis, Sunni, Shias, Sikhs, everybody, Hindus, all of them, they got along very well. They lived in the Indian neighborhood. They went to the Indian movies. And they basically control the economy. 95% of the stores and all that was controlled by them. Now, if you remember in 72, late 70, that Idi Amin kicked all the Asians out of Uganda. Now, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya was part of the East African Union. That was 3 Swahili-speaking countries that was part of the British Empire. They even had East African Airways. Now, the British was on the top, and they took all the main riches. In the middle was the Asians. After the British left, they still had what we call neo-colonialism. Like to get your test corrected at the university in Dar es Salaam, they sent it to England. They didn't have the authority to. You couldn't get no PhD or nothing else from Tanzania. They had to send it to Europe to get it done. And the judges still, when you walked into court, you saw a tar baby looking judge
White wig.
put a doggone white wig on like they doing it. Hey man, that's the way it was. Technically, we hated the Indians. They were racists. Not with me and you, African Americans. Everybody treated us different. We was different species. They did not get funny with us. Okay? So, when I went to South Africa, I was thinking, I knew the brothers was better, but I didn't know they was that good. The Muslims was good in South Africa. I mean, the rebellion, wherever Mandela was hiding and all that, the last place, I talked to the brother that owned his house, that owned the house. He said, yeah, Mr. Mandela was with me before he got arrested. And all of that. They all the money, think of the anti-apartheid movements, Fatima Mia, you would remember those names, Fatima Mia, of course, the Muslim, everybody. They gave them their money, and the lawyers were mostly Muslims. Okay. The Muslims helped the movement with a lot of money and everything. And the South Africans, Indians, the Masjid in Soweto, I'm going back 20-something years, it's about $1 million masjid. Just like the ones they build in their place. The one in Mamelodia, it has a plaque on it. It says abdul-alim Musa from Washington, D.C. The Zafar Bangash from Toronto, Canada. It's just recognition stuff. But the African Muslims are different than us a little bit. I want to get to the meat of this. After apartheid, during this period, everybody was enthusiastic. This is only 2 years after Mr. Mandela. But I'm telling you, no, I'm not going to go like that. Because of the history. It's not like, because of the history, the culture, everything says, not going to do it. And all the African movements, Latin American movements, all the third world people basically the same. And Europeans too. I don't care who it was. You're poor and kicked out. You have a transition, a rebellion, and you get power now. And you don't know how to handle power, and it makes you it runs you crazy. Poverty is a minor test compared to wealth and power. Poverty is easy, you just starve to death and just go pick up beer cans and stuff and try to eat. That's not bad, but you have power. when you have authority, and you have all that, and you're not used to it, everything that you always wanted is available to you. Within a month or two, you done forgot about your comrades. That's what happened in South Africa. And something that we had been saying the other day, that we live on the front page. Was that us talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
So, today I was just looking at the paper, and here it is, South African sorrow on ANC as Mandela votes. This is Mandela's granddaughter. In other words, the Mandela family is deserting the ANC, and they were its pillar. Okay, because of all of the reasons. Okay, Oliver Tambo now, I forget his name.
Zuma.
Huh?
Who?
Zuma? This fool? Zuma's the fool. No, before him. I know I can see his face right now. Dark-skinned brother got salt and pepper, and now he got more salt and pepper. He was the president before. He was a good brother. It's not Oliver Tambo. It's close to that though. So, all the stuff that we talked about, and it's clear, is right on the front page today. I mean, every day it's like that. Always sitting right on the front page. The other thing, right in the same paper, just today, Afghan warlord returns urging Taliban to join the peace caravan. Hikmat Yar. Well, that's fine. Here's Golbadi Hikmat Yar. We're having a program together, and he looks a little younger then. That's 85. In fact, I even had the cassette of it, Hikmat Yar, Golbadi Hikmat Yar. Okay? And so, we're right on, when I say on the front page, now I haven't seen these brothers. The last time I seen him, almost like 20 years ago.
He's 69 years old.
Yeah, he's 69, and the thing about it is, if you would have seen, the way it goes is like, if you would have seen Sayyid Hussein Fatlala from Lebanon at a program 20 years ago, and walked in, he might not have said nothing, but if his guards are standing there and I walked in, they would look at each other, and then they would smile. That's the way it is. All that stuff is on camera. Same thing with Hikmat Yar. Last program, his bodyguards right at the Istiklal Hotel. Hey, Imam Musa, yeah, da. And that's the way the thing has been. When I say front page, then I was just looking at this right here, Venezuela, poor turn away. And I'm just looking at my desk, and I'll pass it. Hotel Altamira, Avenida Jose Felix Souza, Caracas, Venezuela. Now, I stayed in a home, a residency they call it, but my partner, you can see right there, it says Mr. Mello. Now that's Mellow Mike, you know what I mean? You know the way Negroes have names. That's Mellow Mike. And he's in Venezuela visiting me, and I tell him to get you a spot. When you come to the airport, tell him to take you there, then I'll come pick you up. You know what? So what I'm saying is, everything happened in the news, we're on the front page. Now, the thing about this is a silly Negro lady called me last week, and I wasn't going to say anything. But remember I was talking about slowpoke and all of that? Mm-hmm. And so usually when I see this Negro lady's number, I don't answer. It's some California no-call ID and all that, something. But this time I answered it, and I let her,
What is Tabo and Becky?
Tabo and Becky, that's him, Tabo and Becky. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's in Thabo Mbeki.
I was gonna say I had it on my phone, but
Yeah. No, alhamdulillah. Thabo Mbeki. Yeah. Okay. Where was I at now that quick?
It's on the phone, the lady with the phone.
Huh?
You just talking about the lady.
Oh, the old crazy lady. So, boy, you really made a fool out of yourself. Talking about slow poke and this, that, and other. And white folks don't care nothing about you. They're not going to spend all that time and all that money on you. Now, I listened for a half an hour, and it was hilarious. But anyway, they've been doing that for years, trying to convince me that I'm not important, and I'm imagining, all these things I'm imagining. Now, here's another thing, front page thing. Remember, this is in Egypt, Pope decries religious violence, there he is with the head of the Christians. Now, this is the Pope. Now remember, 2 years ago in Iran, I had gave in the khutbah and I had said in programs that there was 2 conferences. We had ours in Qom, then there was another one. The Archbishop or something was there. I said his cross was so big that he looked like the Pope. Remember I was saying that?
Right.
And he was saying that we are, the Christians, al-Kitab. This was the big international program against Daesh. So that probably was November 2015 or 14. One of the two. I'll remember in a minute. The thing is that situation helped set up the global thing. Number one, it's just like these dummies doing this. Okay, Saudi Arabia develops Daesh. The United States collaborates with Saudi Arabia, and the Israelis collaborate with the Israelis. Anybody that's on their team can do anything to anybody else, and that anybody else will be our team. So us and the Yemenis are on the same team by the historical, that's the way it is. Okay? All of this stuff has been happening recently. But what does it mean? It means that we used to call it this earlier, a few years ago, strategic alliance. Now, if we started in 2006, that's when we talked about the invasion of Lebanon, and we talked about it before we talked about it the week before it crystallized. I mean, the first Jummah, we did 3 Jummahs on that subject. And the second one was 21st, 28th, so it must have been the 14th that we did. Our whole program was related to Bashir. Bashir is good news. And we said, this is good news. And the people was thinking, how can that be good news? They destroyed this, they destroyed that. And we outlined why it was good news. And this is what Lebanon was going to do. And they did that. Okay? Later on, when the people of Yemen for the last several years, especially during the Arab Spring time, have had demonstration after demonstration after demonstration. They even gave the sister 5 or 6 years ago, one of them peace prizes or something. I have a sister from Yemen. You know, it has nothing to do with Sunnism, Shiism. It has to do with the people of Yemen being tired of their leader and getting rid of him. But they lump that leader with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia lumps it with himself. And so they're doing this whole war and this whole thing to take, could you push that, the thing up just a little bit? No, yeah, so it won't. Sure, you can cut it off if you want, yeah. Just cut it off and that'll be fine. Okay. So we have Yemen, the richest Arab country in the world, bombing the poorest Arab country in the world because it's related to Shiism. Okay. We talked about our situation as related to what we call let me see, I should have it right here. Strategic depth, strategic brilliance, strategic alliance, strategic ability, strategic capability, and strategic environmental engineering. Strategic environmental engineering is very important to planning. But back to the original subject. We have the Arab Spring, and we're clear it won't be no Arab Spring. It's going to go through certain phases. We've said that many times. And number 3 and 4, or number 4 and 5. Number 3 would be regional vision, and number 4 would be regional unity. When we made that analysis, there was no general way for any regional unity to develop because there was no regional cause. The regional cause came after that. The regional cause comes from, number 1, the invasion of Syria, right? It also has a lot to do with the situation in Iraq, right? Then when you bring Daesh into the picture, Daesh is carrying on the continuous war against humanity. Saudi Arabia is behind that. Saudi Arabia and Iran is not new. That's just been going on since when the revolution happened. It was about a year or so. The Pakistanis liked it, the Islamic movement liked it. Saudi Arabia didn't like it. So within a year, by 1980 and 81, it was open hostility between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And it's been like that ever since. This is when they brought back, in this city especially, the anti-Shiism, the literature that they spread around about Shias, right there from the Islamic Center and all over the area, okay, was the root of that. Now we have a strategic vision and we have a strategic unity. Set aside something that they always hated. We've said all this before. And number 1, Saudi Arabia has initiated a situation where they have used money, wealth, and power to draw everybody to their side visibly. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So they bring Egypt their way, they go around, collect anybody that needs money, and they go with them. On the other side, basically, is Iran. And before Iran was all by itself, But now Iran is part of a clear strategic alliance. I know I said it, but this is important. These things will be repeated over and over again so that our people will understand what's going on. Strategic alliance, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Russia. This is very, very important. The neutral or leaning positive relations is Afghanistan and Pakistan. If you notice, you don't hear any anti-Iran and Pakistan. In fact, Hikmat Yar, they talk about he was here. Hikmat Yar was in Iran most of the time. Yeah, Hikmat Yar was in Iran. He had a villa there, well, a villa, you know, they give you a place to stay and for your guards and headquarters. He's in Iran. Okay, so the strategic alliance is super important, and what it has done, it has strengthened the exact people that they've been trying to weaken. And the bad guy is not Iran anymore. The bad guy is Saudi Arabia. And everything that every problem Europe got is because Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all of them dug their own hole. They got all the refugees. Well, if you'd have left Syria alone, you wouldn't have no refugees. And if you would have had refugees, they wouldn't have nowhere to go because Libya was controlled by Gaddafi. And everybody that leaves there leaves from Libya, right? Okay. All the Africans, and now they got new slavery. They got Libya is a crazy house.
Chaos.
Can you explain failed state?
A failed state is where the state, like the students they put in, they might control the Capitol building and maybe 2 or 3 blocks, right? But the rest of the thing is controlled by different groups. Remember, the U.S. always do that. Western powers always divide up, even with their friends. They make sure if they get out of line, we got some homeboys that we'll slow you down, we'll give them an edge forward, and they'll get rid of you. They do that with everybody. That's why they've been ineffective in Afghanistan. So it's a failed state. It's a state that where the state apparatus don't really control anything. Therefore, whatever you want to do, if you got somebody, if you got a little crew, you want to sell drugs in Libya, you can bring all the drugs you want, because ain't nobody to stop you, right? The state can't stop you, and the other groups, you just tell them, hey man, if we make $1 million, we're going to give y'all 100,000, we're going to give y'all 10% everything we clear profit, we're going to give y'all 10% if you have to, 5% if you can, and pretty soon they're going to get addicted to that money. Yeah, they're going to get addicted to that money. So, yes.
Let them know that the reason the American government is mad with Russia has nothing to do with hacking. They're mad with Russia because Russia jumped in on that alliance in that area. That's what just upset the whole apple cart, and they've been pissed off ever since.
And Russia is running it. See, the U.S., we'll get to it, the U.S. is trying as hard as they can to ease a peace in there. But when you F up everything. Here's a little something I was just going to, on Syrian border, tension between Turkey and the United States over troops. Okay. Turkey, old Ottoman Empire, it has always hated the Kurds. Because you got a whole belt of Kurds, Iraq, Iran, Syria. You got a group of Kurds, and Turkey. And the crew in Turkey, I have a lot of Kurd friends in Turkey. They just, the government hates Kurds. But the U.S. wants to pretend to fight against Daesh, but you know Daesh is in Turkey too. But they got Raqqa on the border with Iraq. Now just look how crazy this is. Whatever they do is screwed up. If they help one group, if they say the Kurds, y'all been fighting good, we gave y'all a little stuff, y'all been moving on these people.
Yeah, really.
Which is true.
Yeah.
But the more they get armed, the better they can now, when the smoke clear, Turkey can't do nothing with them. And plus they little alliances, the Kurds in Syria and the Kurds in Iraq. Iraqi Kurds is almost, they've been allied with Iran. That's why they had Al-Labja, the poison gas and all that. They slaughtered Kurds. Because out of all the Kurds, Iranian Kurds are treated the best. Iranian Kurds are treated the best. So during the Iran-Iraq war with Saddam Hussein, the Kurds in Iraq was hooked up with Iran. That's why Saddam Hussein poisoned the Kurds. When the U.S. comes in 91, they loosen everything up and they help the Kurdish state and the Kurds up in the north. They almost have autonomy. They're part of Iraq. But their economy is doing good because they're U.S. friends and they ho-hum.
Right.
But the Kurds in Iraq also got their homeboys right across the border, right in Turkey. Turkey is a U.S. ally. Turkey wants to be this. Turkey wants to be in the European Union. Turkey is all kind of gobbledygook. It's like being in these handcuffs that the more you wiggle, the tighter they get. It's like wearing slick alligator shoes in the day. Man, alligator shoes, you can see them slick Negroes, and I was one of them. See, in the car, I used to have a big fuzzy, you know, women wear them big fuzzy puffball house shoes. That's the way I was in the car. Then when I get out, I had to zip up them tight Italian boots.